We're with Wayne State Athletic Director Rob Fournier. Rob, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Let's get an update, first of all, on the biggest topic in Wayne State Athletics over the last few years, I'd say, the new baseball stadium.
Well, the Harwell project, it's moving along. Probably a couple more delays, but by the start of next baseball season, we'll be ready to go.
Ground was broken during football season, basically, and we could watch from above in the press box during games, and we could see it progressing week by week, and the snow and the ice and the cold has to affect things a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't the most ideal conditions to be working under, but again, you've kind of got a signature building. It's not like your static institutional building, 4 walls. There's a lot of special features to it, and as you know, Joe, it replicates the outside of the old Abramson Field, so those unique design cuts, those unique architectural features, that takes a little extra work.
How relieved were you? I don't even know if that's the right word, but how nice was it the day ground was really broken and you started finally building this thing that had been planned for years?
I slept out there that night just to make sure somebody would dig the hole. No, I'm just kidding. It was gratifying. A lot of people, a lot of work to get it done. I know that in the end, it'll be a great tribute to Mr. Harwell, and I know a lot of people in Detroit and Michigan, still have fond memories of all his years with the Tigers, and for them to have a facility like this that they can come to and kind of acknowledge and reminisce about his years with the Tigers will be something special.
We're sitting in your office and got pictures of all these classic ballparks adorning your walls. So you're a baseball guy.
Well, I don't want the football coach to hear that, or the basketball coach to hear that. We actually change these depending on who the recruit is. So I've got a couple of student
I noticed
interns
Boston Garden and Madison Square Garden over behind you.
Yeah, they're Well, the basketball guys get here, we'll get that in there. So, but I've always appreciated that the nostalgia and the history of baseball. I just think that there's a connection there, and it's funny when we announced it. I got a lot of emails and letters from women who had said, back then there wasn't women's sports, but their association with athletics came by listening to the Tiger games with Ernie Harwell and being there with their dad, maybe out in the garage or in the backyard or up at the cabin or wherever, and they learned sports, and it was a connection for them with their fathers, and they didn't have the outlet that women have today with a lot of different opportunities, so it was really a connection, and I received all these heartfelt kind of notes and stuff from people. It's like, this is great. I can't wait to see it. Mr. Harwell is such an important part of our lives. So I think, in that sense, for the people of Detroit, and I think just the people of Michigan, knowing Ernie Harwell, they'll want to come and see what that looks like inside.
That's interesting you say that about Ernie Harwell. There's probably not anybody more beloved in the history of Michigan, and especially when you associate it with sports, because he never lost a game. He never did anything that. You can love Bo Schembechler, but you might be mad about a Rose Bowl. Or you might be mad that Jack Morris lost a game. But there's nothing Ernie Harwell ever did that you don't like. He's just everybody's favorite.
Well, Ernie was the fan. And so what everybody felt was coming through him. And, and that's where he made his connection. And, all the little signature things that he did, there was a foul ball caught by a person from Hamtramck or another part of Michigan, that people be listening on the radio, be like, oh my gosh, there's somebody there from Grand Rapids at the game tonight. And, obviously wasn't somebody from Grand Rapids that he knew that caught the ball, but it was just his way of connecting and all the little catchphrases, they became synonymous. But, his history in baseball is much more than the Tigers. I mean, he had a remarkable career. I mean, World Series games and pro football games. I mean, he broadcast the Masters. I mean, he pretty much did it all in sports.
And a lot of his legacy is going to live on inside that building once it's done, beyond just having Ernie and Lulu's name on it.
Oh, the inside of the facility, as significant as the outside looks to people, the fact that it looks like the old Abramson Field, the inside of it is going to have all those mementos and things that you knew about Ernie, but also beyond that, things significant to baseball. So there's a section that's the great calls in baseball. So you'll be able to hit a button and you'll be able to hear Mel Allen or Red Barber or Vin Scully, call a game, and as time goes by and people are like, well, who were these people? You'll get to hear those voices, and then you'll hear the signature calls, that Ernie was so significant and what people came to associate with him. It's long gone, or he was there, like standing by the side of the road. That all of those things that was Ernie. So you'll be able to get that. There's video tributes to him inside. There'll be 3 large video displays. So as you go in, you might hit a video display and hear a former Tiger talk about their first time meeting Ernie Harwell or something significant that he did. When Ernie passed away, there were over 10,000 people that wrote letters and made small contributions. They wanted to acknowledge Mr. Harwell. Well, they sent the money back, but we kept the letters. And so some of those letters will be on display, and you'll be able to read those through the video screens and see what those people wrote. And really, that's kind of a snapshot of Michigan and the city of Detroit and how important that was. Here's somebody telling a story about, they're outside in the backyard on a summer evening and they'd have the Tiger game on and be listening to Ernie Harwell, and that's night after night. That's like a part of your family. I mean, some people spent more time with Ernie maybe than they did with some of their own relatives, and I mean that. So you'll be able to see all that, and you'll understand that connection. And then the part that Ernie played in so many different things that changed our way of looking at baseball. He brought Jose Feliciano to sing the national anthem in the '68 World Series. You think about the production now at the World Series. It's run by Major League Baseball. They do their testing. Who's going to be the name that's going to people are going to relate to and certainly make that presentation when they do the national anthem. Back then, they went to Ernie Harwell and says, "Hey, can you get somebody to sing the national anthem?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll get somebody." And he got Jose Feliciano. Now remember, this is America 1968. Jose Feliciano does this rendition of the national anthem that's different than your normal, very static kind of, band type of performance. He does it upbeat. And so we have that video. So you'll be able to go in and play that and see that. The reaction to, here's this blind singer out in center field singing the national anthem. There was a huge uproar. I mean, it's hard for us to imagine that now in 2016, but it was like Ernie Harwell had besmirched the reputation of America and the Star Spangled Banner by picking out Jose Feliciano. The controversy dies down because of Mickey Lolich winning Game 7, but it was what he brought, and it was more than just his voice to a game.
You're going to create a destination, not just to watch baseball, but to come see this place. But it's going to really bring Wayne State baseball more into the forefront, and Wayne State athletics as well in general. People going to go to a football game and maybe come a little early just so they can walk over, take a look at that.
Well, that was really the idea all along. I know if I was at the school down the street at Ann Arbor, you don't have to do a whole lot to get people to come there, and there's the one up in East Lansing. I get all of that, but people like Wayne State, what is that? And people have a perception or an image of that, and some of that has to be changed. But there's great things that have gone on here, and there's a long history here. So here we are, we're sitting on a site where they hope to have held the '68 Olympics. This was going to be the Olympic Village. So there's a lot of history here. And, we're coming up on our 100th anniversary of athletics, and throughout that time, members of the Harlem Globetrotters used to play on our basketball teams. We played Kentucky in the NCAA Division I tournament, after beating DePaul when there was only 32 teams in the tournament. We're all the way down to the final 16.
Rob, you just keep making this place grow, and it keeps getting better and better. Best of luck in the future.
I appreciate that, Joe. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.